They have pursued the goal of world domination till they directly or indirectly ensure the collapse of communism and the breakup of the Soviet Union. That is their own definition of development. What is our own? Even if you go as far as Israel, the goal of Israel is to be the dominant superpower in the Middle East, to be so strong militarily as to be able at any time to confront and defeat the combined military forces of all Arab countries put together. Giant of Africa. That's us. When we go for parliamentary conferences in Africa, we're the giants. We have countries competing with us for positions, like Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso! Yes, so. And we're the giant of Africa. The consequences can be very grave. Because in Côte d'Ivoire, last week, or a couple of days ago, can you imagine those comedians soaring to presidents? Yes, Côte d'Ivoire is it 1 hour flight from Nigeria. And a large part of the population of Côte d'Ivoire is from Ushubu. You're laughing. An important segment of that country have Yoruba people with lines in their faces, speaking Yoruba with a funny French accent. And that rubbish is going on in that country. What are we doing to look after our brothers of the same blood? Switzerland is not in the index of a corrupt nation. Yet, the economy is built on money stolen from here. According to Mr. Costa, Antonio Mata Costa, he is the Executive Director of United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. He says that between 1960 and 1999, over $400 billion was taken from Nigeria. Not now, dollars. Costa. According to Raymond W. Baker, he's saying that the estimate is closer to $436 billion. Money is taken from Nigeria to these wonderful nations, yet they are not corrupt. Where they corrupt? What are you going to do about it? They say that 31% of Nigeria's land is arable. I even think it's more than that. Added to this rare blessing, Nigeria is stupendously endowed with many mineral resources, including gold, precious stones, oil and gas, to mention a few. The early nationalists made good use of our arable land as they invested heavily in agriculture, which in the 50s and 60s was the mainstay of Nigeria's economy. The nationalists never relied on revenue from gas and petroleum, even as they had good visions of building strong human capital to support the economic and industrialization efforts of their respective regions. Relying on revenue from agriculture, the three regional governments were able to establish UNN in the east, OAU in the west, UNILAG in the west, Abu Zaria in the north. In addition, these regions built hospitals, schools, awarded both local and foreign scholarships to Nigerians, opened industrial areas, started banks and other regional economic corporations. Of course, including the magnificent edifice called Cocoa House in Ilorin. That was 50 years ago. And before you know it, our people in the southwest, before they want to say anything, say, Baba. Baba died over 20 years ago. Let the man rest. So we cannot mention one or two people in our side of Nigeria. In 50 years, it's a failure of leadership because there was no succession. That is what I'm talking about. Okay. Agriculture is 42% of gross domestic product, which only is 1% of bank lending. Hold on a second. Agriculture is only 42% of GDP. Wow. Quora is noted for agriculture, right? But why should we have to import rice? Was it that, what is it that is produced in Thailand or India that cannot be produced here? Why should we be importing all those products? Even textiles we import. Whereas in the 50s and 70s, the Chinese company came to Nigerian textile factories to learn how to deal with textiles. Can you imagine that? China, the great China, came to learn on textiles. something. Do you think that's a guarantee of free and fair election? No. Do you think the reform in the Electoral Act is a guarantee of free and fair election? No. In 1957, in the southwestern region of Nigeria, NCNC had 18 seats. Action Group had 22 seats. It was free and fair. But in any state controlled by any political party, in Nigeria today, if they should conduct any election at the local level, that party controlling the state will win 100% of the seats. Is that fair and fair? I agree with you. However, Kano State, not a PDP state, they conducted the same election and their party won 100% there. In Lagos State, they did the same thing. They won the whole thing. My dear students, I believe we're here to tell ourselves the whole truth. And everyone is a culprit. And together, united, we can solve this problem. Because right now, there's little or no confidence in the system, no matter how much money you pour into it. Because the resource that is growing in our nation, the only resource that is growing in our nation is human beings. That's you. Of course, I welcome the advent of private universities in Nigeria. This is better appreciated when we compare the grim statistics from Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board, JAM, which says that this year,